How's it going? Garrett with CSI. Today we're going to teach you how to rebuild your rod end and why this is important. I'm sure over time you've got into a scenario where you can no longer feel the detents in this, or it's jammed up. Whatever you do, don't force it. You'll break this driver inside, and it's next to impossible to get it out once it's broke, and you'll have to buy a new rod end. So we sell a rebuild kit on our website. That rebuild kit comes with enough parts to rebuild 2 rod ends, and it's super simple to do. All you need is a 90-degree pick, a 7/16 wrench, and then 2 Allen wrenches, a 5/64 and a 7/64. So the first step we're going to do is take the cockpit adapter out. This is where the cable would hook up, or just where you would turn to adjust your shock. We found that a 7/16 wrench will hold the ears of that so you don't jam the driver in there, and then you can simply use that 7/64 Allen to take this out. It's just a little socket head screw in there. You can see how it's gotten rusty from many car washes, and then pull that out. To get the next step, it's best to screw this guy into full soft, and then you can see that it's away from that little snap ring, because we're going to take that snap ring out later in the process. Step 2 is going to be to take this set screw out, and below this set screw is a spring and check ball. So you'll peel this guy out, and if you use that same Allen wrench, you should be able to go down in there and grab the spring with it, maybe. If not, you can tap the spring up and get it with this 90-degree pick. And you can see how it's kind of rusted and gunked up. Even though we run a seal in the bottom of this, pressure washer and car washes and stuff, just junk gets down in there. So the next step is we will get this clip out, and if you just push it down with that 90-degree pick, you can get it out pretty easily. And then we'll use our cockpit adapter again to screw this guy out, and then that guy will come out, and then now we can push that little check ball out, and you can see how it's kind of dirty and grimy. So the reason that we rebuild these is you can see the little detent here and that check ball. So as you're feeling the detent in there, that check ball is sitting down in there with spring pressure, and as you adjust it, it falls into the next little machine slot. As these get filled up with dirt and grime, it's not dropping down into that detent, so you don't feel it. And then if you get enough grime and stuff on there, it kind of gets jammed up and it doesn't even want to adjust. So what we do is we'll clean this guy up really good, and then we will replace it with a new spring, check ball, clip, replace the O-ring in there, and then everything will be fresh and working good as new. So the last thing I'll do before I clean it is I'll pull this O-ring out. That O-ring, when you're screwing it back on the shaft, crushes and gives it a pretty good seal. The original design of this didn't have the O-ring, and these things would get gunked up about halfway through the season. Now they last quite a while, but still good to rebuild it as soon as it's not feeling fresh. So once that's O-rings out, we'll just take some brake clean, blow this out. If you have a little wire brush or a toothbrush, you can get down in there and clean it pretty good. We'll just take it over and blow it with some air to get everything out, and then we'll start the rebuild process. So we will wipe off this driver really good so there's no gunk or anything in those detents. This is all the stuff we're going to replace, and then this is the new stuff we'll put in. Again, the kit comes with enough to rebuild 2. The kit also comes with this O-ring driver. If for whatever reason that got tore, you can replace it, but this one looks to be in pretty good shape, so we'll just reuse it. Before we put this driver back in, we'll coat it with some good grease, and then I also like to coat the threads. So we will drop that back down in there. Again, if we thread it in pretty far, it's a lot easier to put that new snap ring in. So we'll thread it in, take this snap ring and pop it down in there. You want to make sure that snap ring's seated and the driver's up against it. Then we will put the O-ring back down in for the shaft, and you can kind of use your 90-degree pick just to get it back in place. It's back down in there. So we'll put the ball down in there. You can use your Allen wrench to push it and get it all the way down. Then the spring will go in, and then the Allen screw. And that Allen screw we just screw down till it's flush. So just to where it's flush. Then now you can feel that has a nice detense again. It's adjusting great. And the last step will be to hold this guy with a 7/16. And I like to put a little touch of red Loctite on that socket head going back in. What that does is just keeps it from ever coming out. And then get it good and tight. And just like that, a few minutes, you'll have a freshly rebuilt rod in, nice detense again, and it's ready to go back on the shock.